What's up, y'all? We're gonna be reacting to a Jordan Peterson video. If y'all don't know about brother JP, the disciple, the
Really?
prophet JP, very well read psychologist. Look him up. I don't think I've seen his video before, so Dre sent this. Dre be finding all the stuff, so I'll just be
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
I'm gonna be blind reacting to it. I haven't seen it, so.
If y'all can do me a favor and give us a like, comment, and subscribe, it would really help your boy and your girl.
And suggestions,
because
you know.
we're inclusive. Oh yeah, suggestions. Oh yeah, we have an Instagram, and we have all the platforms. It's I Digress, exactly how it's spelled on here. Look us up. You don't even have to follow us. Just send us stuff.
I mean,
please follow us.
Follow us first.
Please follow us. Let's get into the video.
Things I tell young men, well, and young women as well, but the young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster.
This is where we hold them.
You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, you should be a monster.
Yo, I say this all the time. Do I not say this all the time?
You be saying it.
Yeah, like being good and being harmless are not the same thing, man. Nobody likes a punk. And it's not anything that you got to be, you know what I'm saying, on 100 all the time. It's just that you have to be able to. You have to be able to do it. People have to know that, like, yo, if it goes there, you'll be right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no lies told.
Absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it. Because if you are not capable of cruelty, you are absolutely a victim to anyone who is.
Surrender to me!
And so part of the reason that people go watch anti-heroes and villains is because there's a part of them crying out for the incorporation of the monster within them, which is what gives them strength of character and self-respect, because it's impossible to respect yourself until you grow teeth. And if you grow teeth, then you realize that you're somewhat dangerous. And then you might be more willing to demand that you treat yourself with respect and other people do the same thing. And so that doesn't mean that being cruel is better than not being cruel. What it means is that being able to be cruel and then not being cruel is better than not being able to be cruel.
It's true, man. It's true. And the other thing too is, like, it's a weird thing. You can say what you want, but people tend not to value you being nice unless there's some sort of context to it. You know what I'm saying? If there's no context that is like, well, you're capable of being mean, a lot of times people don't value you being nice. I hate to say it like that, but it's just the truth. It's like people just, if you're too nice, they just assume that you're a punk. Sometimes you don't even have to display it. Like, they can just feel it on you. They can smell it on you. Like, nah, this ain't the nigga.
I mean, and then there's not even the part that involves people. It's like the internal part of it is like, who are you really? Like,
yeah.
Like, or my boss made this joke about stealing office supplies from the workplace, or stealing phones and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, no, who's really honest, you know? Is it the person that doesn't steal but also doesn't know how to steal, or the person that could 100% get away with it and doesn't steal?
Exactly.
That's real honesty.
Yeah. It constantly end up being like that, like 40-year-old version, you know that movie? Where it's just like, he's like, did you ever you have sex with her? It's like, nah, I didn't, You couldn't. That's the correct word. You couldn't, which is fine, but it's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
And, you know, a lot of martial arts concentrate on exactly that as part of their philosophy of training. It's like, we're not training you to fight. We're training you to be peaceful and awake and avoid fights. And I guess the philosophy also is that if you're competent at fighting, that actually decreases the probability that you're going to have to fight, because when someone pushes you, you'll be able to respond with confidence, and with any luck, and this is certainly the case with bullies, with any luck, a reasonable show of confidence, which is very much equivalent to a show of dominance, is going to be enough to make the bully back off.
That's a fact. That's what I'm saying. Like, people can smell it on you. People can smell it on you. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you don't, even when you like hear these like, you know, blue-haired feminists and they're like toxic masculinity and blah, blah, they're really, what they're talking about is a guy at the bar starting fights with everybody who has a Napoleon complex. It's like, that's not even really a dude for real.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're around dudes that are like, if you know anybody that can actually fight, it's kind of rare when they get into fights. It's like a spectacle. It's like everybody, I'm sure you grew up with, there was somebody in your neighborhood, a nigga with hands. It's like that is his name. He doesn't have a real name. It's a nigga with hands. And it's like, he didn't always fight, or sometimes he did if the neighborhood's rough enough, but it's like when he did, it was a spectacle. Yeah. Or if you needed somebody, he wasn't always at the functions or whatever, but if you needed somebody, who you gonna go get? A nigga with hands. You gonna get a nigga with hands. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you carry yourself differently. You carry yourself differently. Like, you don't have to bark if you got a mean bite.
There's nothing to prove.
There's nothing to prove. It's just like, I don't want to take it there almost because I know how this will end and it's not going to be good. They tend to give you a lot more rope to hang yourself. Like, they're like, please, I really don't want to punch your teeth into your throat. That's not what I planned on doing today. But it's true, man. That confidence is like, and it's a symptom of success. They don't have that just because they believe it. They had to have accomplished it. So I think intrinsically, if you're pressing somebody and they're giving you like that silent, like, I'm not the one.
Yeah.
That didn't come because they manifested it. Like, they've had to pull some people's teeth out of their knuckles. That confidence is a symptom of success.
And so the strength that you develop in your monstrousness is actually the best guarantee of peace. And that's partly why Jung believed that it was necessary for people to integrate their shadow. And he said that was a terrible thing for people to attempt, because the human shadow, which is all those things about yourself that you don't want to realize, reaches all the way to hell. And what he meant by that was, it's through an analysis of your own shadow that you can come to understand why other people are capable, and you as well, of the sorts of terrible atrocities that characterized, let's say, the 20th century. And without that understanding, there's no possibility of bringing it under control. When you study Nazi Germany, for example, or you study the Soviet Union, particularly under Stalin, and you're asking yourself, well, what are these perpetrators like? The answer is, they're just like you. And if you don't know that, that just means that you don't know anything about people, including yourself. And then it also means that you have to discover why they're just like you. And believe me, that's no picnic. So that's enough to traumatize people, and that's partly why they don't do it. And it's also partly why the path to enlightenment and wisdom is seldom trod upon, because if it was all a matter of following your bliss and doing what made you happy, then everyone in the world would be a paragon of wisdom. But it's not that at all. It's a matter of facing the thing you least want to face.
That's 1,000% fact. Like, yeah. What's the nun's name? The famous nun.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah, you know, like Mother Teresa always said, like, the reason why I do all these great things, like, for humanity is because I'm a terrible person. I've come to the realization of that. Like, yeah. Not verbatim, but it was expressive about, like, the depths of her, you know, darkness and humanity's darkness, and that's how she got to where she got.